Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. I hope everyone had a great Happy New Year and a great start to your New Year's this year. I'm going to give a couple seconds for others to join. And then we'll get started. Okay, first thing we are going to start with is accountability reporting. And as we've discussed in past meetings, that the chronic absenteeism absentee medical exemption is open and will be through the end of the school year. The Office Accountability will be offering webinars throughout the year on training for this. So if you need a refresher, just be sure to reach out to see what their training schedule is like. Remember, there are 3 components to this. You have to have a local exemption committee, a site user, and a district admin user to determine this. And your site user and district admin user cannot be the same person. So just keep that in mind. Also, in accountability reporting, the dropout window's open. We opened the conflict window prior to that. Make sure before you enter a DVR on this or on these dropout reports that you've addressed all your conflicts. You should be working those before putting any DVRs in. So the window itself is open through January 20th at 5 p.m. And actually this is for school year 2021. However, it does go into the new school year until like September 30th was the cutoff. So it gives you the opportunity to review your 7th through 12th grade students that are listed on the dropout report, and you can submit those DVRs for the students that did not enroll because they transferred out of state, or they went to a private school, immigrated, or went to homeschooling, obtained their GED, or passed away during the summer or fall. Also, if you have any students showing up on the dropout report without a DVR option, and you believe that dropout is a result of like a delayed enrollment at the student's new school that occurred around the time of the school year 22 dropout period, which ended on September 30th, and the delay was beyond your school's control, you need to email the Office of Accountability at accountability@sde.ok.gov and include the email and documentation indicating the student's transfer. Also, in accountability reporting, right now is a great time for you to go in and check your post-secondary coursework credits. If your grades are entered, you'll be able to see if the credits are there. Unless it's a full year course, those won't show up, but any other course that is like a college credit or whatever, you should be able to see whether you're getting those post-secondary credits. But right now is the best time to look at that prior to the end of the year when we're trying to scramble to see why you're not getting those credits. If you're finding there's issues, please reach out to us. You can email myself at nancy.flores@sde.ok.gov or June Jared at june.jared@sde.ok.gov. If any other windows that are opening, you're going to get those will be announced through our Gov delivery system. So keep your eye out for those. And if you have questions about anything in the accountability reporting app, please email accountability@sde.ok.gov. Does anybody have any questions about this portion of the presentation?
Nancy, this is Terry at Choctaw. I do have a quick question about that.
Okay.
Since we are a block school, our grades never come in correctly. And we have never really mentioned it or bothered with some of it because they got their credit. And so as long as they got their credit, we were fine. How important is it that all the grades that we post come through on that post-secondary?
Well, I mean, basically, Terry, that's an outlier for your school report card. So you
Well, the kids are getting the credit.
well, the kids are getting the credit, that's great too, but if it's not showing as post-secondary credit earned on this report, it won't reflect against your school report.
Yes, I know that part, and I'm fixing the ones that didn't show for that, but I'm talking about if I have a kid who should have 2 grades showing for his AP English 12 and there's only 1, but he's still got his credit. I've never mentioned it. Do y'all
That's
want that stuff?
Well, I mean, they only get post-secondary credit one time.
Correct. So that's why I've never bothered to let y'all know that it doesn't pull correctly for the grades correctly, because you have space for 4 grades. We've never had a kid have all their grades come in right. But as long as they got their credit, I never worried about it.
Let me do some checking and see what the relevancy of that is, okay?
Okay.
Hey, this is Jen. I just posted a response to that. We want all the grades to come in correctly for post-secondary coursework. So if it's not, if you'll schedule a time to work with me, we'll review that and see how we can get all your grades in correctly.
Okay, thanks, June. Does anybody else have anything in regards to any of the information on accountability reporting? Okay, I am going to move on to PEBT. And hopefully by now, and everybody's taken the training on PEBT, you have to have a Canvas account. If you don't have one, you'll need to follow the link that's posted on this slide, and the slide will be posted on our website after the call. So your email will be validated and you can set up login credentials, and then you'll have to go in and actually enroll in the PEBT course. So in that particular training module is done really nicely. It's broken to several modules. There's in-depth training that helps you to understand if a student qualifies for PEBT and how it's evaluated. There are also a DVR process located towards the end of the module, and there's a PDF documentation in the last module, and you can stop and start the course as needed, and it'll take you back into where you were at. So if you haven't done it, I really encourage you to do so. The window for getting your DVRs is actually approaching, so we want to make sure everything's in there. Once you're enrolled, this is what you're going to see. So if you'll look at that on the slide, and I want to go over a little bit about the DVRs themselves, because we're working at processing those, and we're finding that we're receiving some DVRs under the wrong category. So please be sure that if you're entering, if it's the whole school day was coded wrong for the entire site, you're going to put it under school data collection. If it's one student that has single or multiple days that are coded wrong, it's going to be under that student's attendance. And if it's student enrollment, that's going to be if their enrollment changed from residence, RV on, RV off. Granted, we don't use those codes now, but this is back from school year 2021. So that would be what would affect those particular DVRs. And if it's students' school, their free and reduced status was incorrect. So we are going in and working through those. I encourage you, please go in. You should get notification when we actually tell you that it's in the wrong category and you have to resubmit it under the right ones. But make sure you're verifying that. Do we have any questions about PEBT? So Mona, if you don't have any changes to a student, do we need to do anything with the DVR? No. Now you would have gotten those lists or those spreadsheets that told you what the parents were had written in about, and if there's no changes, then no, you don't have to do the DVR. Okay, if you could please unmute, that's a lot more helpful than reading through these chats. Um,
Okay, so we had, this question came up earlier. We have more money loaded on our cards, but we're not sure what time period it's for. And it happened recently. So do you know anything? Like parents are asking and we're not sure what to say.
I know that, Jean, when was the last load of the cards? I know we haven't done a new load that I'm aware of.
The only thing that would be loading right now is if the parent, there were some options for parents to submit requests that they had lost their card or never activated their card. So those were the things that were being reloaded or reissued at this time. The corrections for the DVR windows have not been submitted yet. We were not able to do them month by month because of the calendar changes. So that file will be submitted at the end of January, and then we can expect some payouts there. We've also sent the 2022 file to them at the end of December, but I don't know that they've started payouts. They may have started processing. If it's just happened in the last week or so, it might be from the 2022.
Okay, 2022 school year then? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Possibly, because they just started that. I don't know how quickly they would have issued those payouts.
I know, so I have two kids that were my personal kids enrolled in 2022. And we had spent all of our money like before Thanksgiving and they have money now. So I know between Thanksgiving break and now they've had money added to their cards.
Then I guess it could be the 22 school year.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. We had parents calling and asking and we weren't sure what it was for. So,
They
Because
didn't
we-
get that file until like December 20th.
okay,
And they were going to start working on those, but I cannot tell you for sure that that's where that came from.
okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we know if there's going to be PEBT for 22-23 yet, June?
We still do not have a determination on that, whether or not our state will be participating. The rules have dramatically changed for that. So no, we don't have a definitive answer.
Thank you. Okay. Also, I mean, is there anybody else that have questions about PEBT? Okay, those are the main things. Our next slide is basically, I know we've had a few more that when you're requesting state assistance, this is just a repeat slide that we have each time to make sure that you're not including any personal information for the student and that you provide your phone number and name on the request so we can get back to you. We just need the student testing number or state testing number and your local ID to provide or access the student. We don't need their name or address or anything else. And that's anytime you're reaching out via our student data info mailbox, any of the group team chats or our personal email boxes. So just, I can't reiterate enough, that's all we need on that to access a student. Also, we are seeing some new requests for wave accounts. And just to go over the steps that need to be processed before they get an affiliates login, your superintendent must provide them with wave access on single sign-on first thing. That's the first thing that needs to happen. And then the employee will make a request to OMES for an affiliates logon. If they could make sure they assign the ticket to the app data modernization group and assign it to Matthew Johnston. He's the one who actually sets those up. So you'll kind of expedite it by assigning it directly to him. And keep in mind, it does take up to, or can take up to 72 hours for your access to show up. There's two ways of reaching out to OMES. You can always email them at servicedesk@omes.ok.gov. You'll get a ticket back in your email pretty quick once you hit the button. And then you'll have that as a reference number. Keep that number. It's very crucial to reference that number going forward. Because if you don't hear back from them, you can call with that number to 405-521-2444 and check on the status of the request. If you're having problems accessing the wave, the best thing to do is just go to the single sign-on page, open up, click on the wave. You'll enter your affiliates login. You're going to get a Microsoft page, and you want to enter the same data that you entered for your affiliates logon and the password. If you don't know the password, click Forgot Password, and the system will email you a temporary password, and you'll just have to go in and change it. If for some reason these steps don't work, you're going to need to contact OMES as well at servicedesk@omes.ok.gov. And always, if you have questions or need resources, you can email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov, or you can go to our website at sde.ok.gov, student-information-documents and guides. And also, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, here's the link below on this slide. You just enter in your email address, and you'll start receiving our newsletter. So it's another good resource for information. So that is all I have today. Is there any other questions that we didn't talk about or that you'd like to bring up? If so, just unmute yourself and see what we can help you with.
Nancy, this is Terry from Choctaw again.
Uh-huh.
I was asked to inquire about what date does the state put as the opening day for the transfer portal for the 23-24 school year? And when will the drop down on the transfer portal be switched to where you can select 23-24?
Okay, so that is actually next year's school
Yes,
year.
But we
So,
already have people calling.
well,
We don't know what date to tell them. Plus, I think we need to change our board policy because we had set it for May, but I don't think they can access it till July 1.
they can't. So,
Okay, so it's July 1, right?
yes, it is.
And when will our assistant superintendent or our superintendent secretary be able to process any applications for the 23-24? Is it July 1?
Yes.
Okay. It's what we needed to know.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
This is Dina from Moore. Has there been any new information about the CRDC potential report that we're supposed to be doing?
This is Jan. No, not yet. I just checked the website yesterday and it's still pending. They have not released a start date for districts to be able to access and start working. They're still in that phase of getting those rules put into place that were in that open request or open document period a little bit earlier back in October. So no, there's nothing that's been posted yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because I know some people don't like to be on the recording.